Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show, our second episode in season 33. Um, and how appropriate, 33. Talking of Carol Collins, who is a gifted alpha state channeler for the Jeshua Collective. And we're going to get into some empowering conversations and sharing. And you're going to want to hang out for this. From my personal experience, I can give credit to Carol for a channel for communication that was I had access to, but I hadn't quite reached. And just having a little bit of time with Carol, what has unfolded has been spectacular. And I'm still riding that wave and learning more. I can feel like I'm going through these profound initiations, but the freedom and I'll call it the power, but it's a sovereign power. It's a place where limiting beliefs and doubt don't run the show like they used to. That authentic connection has taken place. And again, it's amazing the way Carol brings it through. And I'll let her share more about that. So y'all hang out today. Sit back, enjoy the conversation, receive the transmission. There's so much that we're going to learn today and so many tools that you're going to have access for. So again, it's going to be wonderful. Again, we're going to get into Q&A. We're into Carol's special offer a little bit later on the call. But before we do any of that, Carol, of course, welcome to today's call. I'm so happy that you're here today.
Hi, well, thank you for having me back. I love this. I love coming back every, what, 2 or 3 times a year. It's fun. 33. I did not take that in. And so that's really fun that you have identified that because I've been seeing 444, 555, 888, which is really fun, 333. And it's just, just a quick thing because people do love numbers. And so the way the teachers describe numbering system, one is your
Mm,
idea. Two, you start putting some emphasis to it, and that's momentum. You put a little momentum to it, that's a two. If you stay with it, then your non-physical team creates for you. That's three. Four is where you go when you have thoughts and you continuously keep interest in it. Five is your interest and your thoughts have been good, your positive momentum has been good, and you are imminent for breaking through the barriers and then receiving. So that's five.
mm,
Six is you got to break through the barrier. So that ties in with your, limiting beliefs don't hurt you because eventually they don't, but you can also soften limiting beliefs. And that's what, a lot of us channelers do in attunement sessions and in private one-on-ones. And so I say we channel it, they do it. And so that's six, breaking through the barriers. Seven, you start seeing evidence for you, but it's small in nature. Eight, that evidence is big. Nine, you have experienced it and you loved it and now you're ready for something different or the same thing but in a exponentially bigger way. So 3 3 3
mm,
3, that means we are all being tended to, we're all being guided, and we all have non-physical teams that are doing the creating for us. Because why? Because they don't use negative emotion when they create. And they also isolate thoughts. So they bring the thought, bring the thought, bring the thought, bring the thought, they massage it all together. When it's perfect, then they set it in front of you. And then maybe your mind accepts it and maybe your mind doesn't. But your mind doesn't accept it if you're riddled with doubt and worry.
mm,
And then the inner mind says, I have too much doubt. I know that that's intuition. I know that that's a perfect created experience for me, but I have so much doubt running through my life right now. I'm not allowed to accept it because you have to abide by law of attraction. You have
mm.
to. So you have to turn the tide and be positive on so many things that what your limiting beliefs are don't surface as often. When they don't surface as often, then, well, life gets better.
Mm. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. And again, the connection and the relationship and the intimacy to these relationships that exist for us. It's life altering.
Yeah.
And we don't make it so character based. We're really in touch instead of with the story of what our ancestors and our previous people taught us that they were supposed to be. We're really connected to a consciousness that is very direct and here to serve us. It doesn't involve all this superstition
Yeah.
that we've put around it.
Yeah. I really appreciate the way that you described how the teachers flow, the way that they flow. It's very plain language, and it's they weave in a lot of storytelling, because we understand the message when you've got storytelling, but they also dive into the mechanics of what your energy field looks like, what's inside of it, what your energy body, the quantum body, it is a force field, but they go into the mechanics of it, and they describe how it works. And
Hmm.
literally, the grid structure is bars of containers that holds memory. Access bars is, one really thoughtful pathway to doing some self-care.
Hmm.
But access bars is kind of what the teachers are talking about with the grid. It's a mechanism in your quantum body, which is inside the quantum field. It holds your emotions, and it holds your thoughts, and it holds the vibration of them. And when you have a lot of negative emotion, then it spills over into the root, and that's where your limiting beliefs are stored. But it also flows over into physical life, and that's when you have a bump that turns into a bruise that really, really hurts, or a relationship that falls apart that really, really hurts, or doubt on something that you really, really want to manifest. And so it's just so beautiful how they go into the mechanics of why the mind works the way that it does, how your energy field is tethered to your guide, and how the non-physical body and the physical body have an interplay. When they talk about, when we talked about this last time, touch point activation and directing chi to do some self-healing as you're partnered with your non-physical team. When the mechanics come through, I don't know about you, but if I can visualize it, then I feel like I know something. And if I feel like I know something, then I'm okay to start doing it. Otherwise, I'm still in learning mode. So yeah, they teach it in a way that you walk away with some kind of imagery about what it looks like and how it interacts and operates. And the mediumship ribbon in the throat chakra is something that they recently brought up to the unfoldment classes, and that was eye-opening. That was
Hmm.
eye-opening.
What I really appreciate, no, what I greatly appreciate about the way that you're guiding other people is that you're providing a path. And it's again, in our spiritual communities, there's so many tools and access to so many different things. And I believe it was appropriate to have different type of experiences or become aware um, of mechanisms that are really here to help us to accelerate our consciousness so that we can be in a vibratory accord with these messages that are coming through from these guides, from our guides. What you've put into place, what the guides have shown you, there's a pathway. You take people through pillars that really provide a mechanism where we can have the experience, feel the experience, experience with the experience, and then teach from the experience. And you break them down into pillars. And today we're talking about pillar two. But I'd love it if you give an overview again of the pillars. And let's get into, I think, the mechanisms of pillar two, the idea of reconstruction, because it's fascinating.
It is fascinating. So I will say this, I didn't come up with the pillar system. They identified the essential material as what they wanted to teach, and that it was categorized into 4 pillars, and each pillar aligns to and heals one of the chakras. So the pillar 1 is, well, let's just start with those. Pillar 1, the foundational material, and it aligns to and heals the sacrum, which includes the sacral, and the sacral is where all your life intentions are stored. And so that pillar 1 is non-physical life, all facets of non-physical life. There's not a question that they have not chosen to answer. Non-physical life includes why we're having a physical life experience. What are we doing here? What is a soul? What does it do? Are we supposed to use it? Can we talk to it? What is life force energy? What are intentions? And what is karma? And are they the same
Mhm.
thing? So it's all about non-physical life. And you know, I'm fascinated with it. I could go on and on about pillar one. Pillar two is idea reconstruction, and otherwise known as law of attraction. I like thoughts create things. I think that's my favorite. Thoughts create things. And the way the teachers break it down is thought is always a minimum of two things, one emotion and one subject. But it's always more than that. But a thought, like if you were to create a thought structure, they said it would look almost like a paper chain. If you only have one ring, it's not a complete thought. It's a one. It's a
Mhm.
one. A two is emotion plus an idea, and so it looks like a paper chain. And so idea reconstruction is taking that emotional loop and then softening it to be a prettier loop, a nicer, prettier emotion, or deconstructing it and then weaving back in. And that's what happens in attunements. So in
Mhm.
a formal drawdown attunement session, non-physical beings bring your awareness into alpha. And I like that you called me an alpha channeler because that is true. It means that my mind shifts into highest alpha. And so channelers like me, we can hear the conversation, although we don't remember it for very long after. So I'll have to listen to this interview just like everybody else. The replay, I'll be on it. But reconstruction is reconstructing the fully formed idea, which is emotion plus the thought, or emotion plus the subject. Pillar three is directing energy to self-heal, which is partnering with your non-physical team and understanding that non-physical energy is available everywhere, 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 in everything that is natural to our physical environment. And when non-physical energy is weaved in, there is Sumari woven inside of that. Sumari is the intelligence. Non-physical energy is chi. You put those two together, there is healing. The teachers always say there's healing in the air. There's literally healing in the air,
Mhm.
in the molecules of the air, because the molecules were created. And this environment doesn't have anything that was created without intelligence weaved in to heal negative emotion. I'm like, well, then why is everybody so cranky? And they said, well,
Mhm.
everybody's not cranky. And they got me on that one. They said everybody's not cranky, but also you can only work with what's in the grid. It's like you have to cook dinner and you're not allowed to leave your house. It's whatever's in the pantry is what you're using to cook dinner. They said whatever's in the grid is what you use to manifest. And if you haven't learned about non-physical energy or about the chakras and activation and things like that, then you don't manifest with that information, which means your mind doesn't tune into that beautiful intelligence that's there to heal. And then pillar four is intuitive development. And
Mhm.
it's strengthening intuition, moving into clairvoyance, which they call ocularity, and then stepping into channeled. And I always get this a lot. So where does psychic fall in? They say psychic falls into pillar two. You use your psychic means magnetic attraction to thought, and magnetic attraction to thought is how you manifest. So psychic falls under pillar two, not pillar four.
Mhm. So how do we access a bigger cupboard? How do we get to shop at the Epicurean store instead of at the convenience store at the corner? In other words, how can we access more of the information that's available um, in these other realities that perhaps we're not so attuned to?
That's a great question. I have some thoughts on it.
I'm
I'm
sure
sure
you do,
the
yeah.
teachers would have some deeper thoughts. For me, it's well, I'll give you one. I don't like the taste of olives. I don't like
Mm.
the taste of olives. They're too salty. It's not the texture, it's the salty. And I had this conversation with them. Mushrooms, same thing. I don't like the texture. And they said, but do you like the flavor? I said, I don't know. I can't get past the initial experience. And they said, well, that's okay. Just say, I like mushrooms. I like olives. I like olive oil. I like olives. I like foraging. I like fruit and vegetables. I like nature, and use soothing emotion and
Mm.
just I like. It's not, I do like it. I've always liked it. You're not trying to convince yourself that you like something that you don't. You're just telling the mind, you're infusing new items in the pantry. I like fruit and vegetables. I like healthy. I like intuition. I like, and so you're feeding the pantry. And so, when you're driving and you're in traffic, you can't really say I like traffic, but you can say I like people.
Hmm.
And I like people. I like people from every country. I like every race and gender. And I like people. I like what they think about. I like that people think and they gather and they exchange thoughts. I like people, and watch how your social life starts to amp up. So
Hmm.
it's, you're in a situation and the pantry is traffic, but it doesn't have to be traffic. It could be, I like people, or I like cars. I like a moment in time when I can listen to a podcast,
Hmm.
go on healthy living. It's whatever you get to do what they call the flip flop. And that's what I mean by they just use plain language. It's just a flip flop or a
Hmm.
U-turn. And you get to make it a wide U-turn or a narrow U-turn. And if you can do a narrow U-turn, do it. So if you aren't happy in the moment with whatever you're doing, then just look around the room. There's something in what you are experiencing that you can love on. And then you're adding love to the pantry. And when you add positive emotion to the pantry, then it's almost like the yellow brick road gets revealed to you. When you add positive emotion to your here and now thoughts, then more things show up in the pantry. But that's emotional cleansing. We all
Hmm.
have great ideas and great thoughts that have emotional barriers over them. And so we can't, the ideas don't come. The 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 words or the choices, the solutions don't come because there's emotional barriers. So we might have the solution on our own, and it might not be intuition. It could be, I just need a little bit of happy me time. And then things get revealed to us because negative emotion, that emotional barrier is removed.
Hmm.
And so, but also, you know, taking a notebook and leaving it out somewhere where you are, walking past it, living room, office, somewhere where you are, and then just putting it on the front of it. This is me. And then when you have a thought, I like horses. I like olives. I like indoor plants. I like friendly. Whenever you have a thought of I like, put it in the notebook. And it just becomes, this is me, this is me, this is me, this is me. Do that for a
Hmm.
month and then open it up and you'll see that your pantry is full, 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 full. But what you're manifesting with is routine, 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 which is the same subjects over and over again. But when you've got that right in front of you, and intuition will guide you on that one, because, whenever we identify a self-care technique that we want to do, your whole non-physical team jumps in and says, oh, let's do that. That sounds like fun. And they start to bring thoughts to you. That's intuition. But they also clear negative emotion in the room so that you can have thoughts and also remember and have the motivation to write it down. It's just,
Hmm.
there's a lot of different ways. I like activities. It's one of the things that I asked the teachers for in the beginning. I said, practical tips, tools, and techniques, things that people can really picture themselves doing and meaningful and get some fruitful value out of it and really understand what the point is. If you don't understand the point, then you're just going through the motions. And so they throw out all kinds of stuff. Those are a couple of their most recent ones.
Yeah, and we also provide, and what's provided through the guides is that it says there's an application, and our responsibility and our request for manifesting is we have to apply, and we have to go through the practices, and we show up for them because it is a reciprocal relationship. It's like, oh, I heard this once and I did it a few days and I forgot. To be conscientious and to direct energy in what we want to create, um, requires our attention, requires our intimacy. And so we can get into this practice and I like, and but we have to be consistent with it. We have to be conscientious. It's if not, then the old repetitive, well, I'm so tired, or I can't connect to my guides, or my relationships don't work, or the ascension energies are so hard, or whatever it is that we can get into loops very quickly in the collective because we hear conversations about that rolling in different ways. Oh, I need to heal this other thing before I can X, Y, and Z. And I find that that's really slowing our progress down tremendously. So what you're offering here, just in that very simple practice, can make such a huge difference in how we turn and be with a rolling tide of positive influence rather than in the swirl of confusion and doubt that we keep stepping onto.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that rolling tide. I like that
Hmm.
better than ebb and flow of tide. Because a
Hmm.
rolling tide, when you think about something rolling, you're in the moment that you're thinking about something rolling, you're picturing it forward momentum, forward movement. But when you add in tide, that means that it's coming in a nice big wave, in a nice big amount. And that's really, really good. I'll give you, just a personal example is, I was really trying to do some work, housework that was just not really coming together. I was doing some maintenance kind of things, building a shop. And I'm going through and I'm looking at the instructions and I'm like, well, this isn't working. This is, and I'm, in that moment where you're reading, but it's not the picture and the diagram and what you're doing, they don't match up. And I sat down for a second and I said, I'm using frustration. I'm using frustration. I'm using frustration. I don't like that. I like happy better. I like happy better. Happy is good. Happy is fun. I like happy. I don't like frustration. I like happy. And so it's almost like you have to acknowledge where you are so that you don't accidentally teach the inner mind that you're okay with it. When
Hmm.
people say, yeah, I'm just so frustrated. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just frustrated. Well, what does that do? Law of attraction is on every single thing that we do and every single thing that we think. When you say, it's okay, I'm just frustrated, the inner mind says, I'm okay with frustrated. But when you say, I'm using frustrated, I don't like that. I like happy better. You know,
Hmm.
you, once you start playing with emotional U-turn, it gets easier and easier, easier and easier and easier and easier. I was Pastor Rolls Royce, two of them in one afternoon. And that's always like a fun thing, Washington, D.C. You see all kinds of fancy cars, but not usually Rolls Royce, and definitely not two of them in the same afternoon. And I looked at that and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. I love that car. And then what the teacher said to me was, just add the word but. I like that car, but I want to be able to buy it for myself with cash, in full, with ease. I said, throw it in there. I like that. Or I like building a shelf, but I like to do it with happy emotion, but I like to do it with fun. I like to do it when I'm feeling enthusiastic. Put the word but in there because the inner mind will soak that in as well. Right
Hmm.
topic, wrong emotion, right topic, wrong emotion. And it's acknowledge and fix it. It takes a little bit of, you got to remember to do it.
Right.
You got to be, and you got to be interested in doing it. But, the, the result, the long-term result, having those negative beliefs not crop up and hit you or hurt you when they do hit you, it's worth it.
Oh my God. And I'm just thinking it's, those feelings of a new relationship, being in love, the excitements of things like that. We invest so much time and energy, like our presence is just right there. It seems 24/7 almost. Um, and if we can remember to be in relationship to this consciousness with that much enthusiasm and that much presence, what becomes ingrained is it's profound. And again, from doing it from that place of love, from a place of expansion, from the place of open heart. Um, And from a place of clarity of what we want, truly, to be able to communicate that, it's profound.
And also in practical ways.
Hmm.
I'm going to jump back to pillar 2, idea reconstruction. And the thing is that the mechanics that they teach, I personally find them extraordinarily helpful. I'm a
Hmm.
visual person and I'm a logic person and I'm a step-by-step kind of person. So it suits my personality. And I do believe that being a person who had this spontaneous awakening and being able to channel in this profound way, I'm sure that my personality is at least partly because of influence from them, because of what they would be teaching.
Hmm.
Otherwise, they couldn't teach the mechanics. But when they talk about idea reconstruction and idea generation, gathering it, law of attraction is gathering information, gathering energy to create. So it's law of attraction, law of creating equals manifesting. And the way they describe it is the first wave of energy that you draw to yourself is emotional. So if you're happy about building a shelf, then you're drawing happy to you on anything and everything that's in your environment, and then specifically on building the shelf. But it's happy, and that's another way that you fill the pantry. So when you're happy, the inner mind, they call it aspect 1. The inner mind goes out and it does a sweep, and it looks for every thought that is resonant in the air and in people and in yourself that matches the wavelength of the emotion that you're using, and it the emotion to you, and then it does another sweep on that specific topic. So when you train yourself to be happy on anything and everything, then you're increasing the percentage of how happy you are in the moment. You could be really, really happy but late for a meeting. So you're mostly happy, but not completely happy. And so when the inner mind does that sweep and draws energy of thought to you, it will draw based on percentages. And so just you gotta really break it down sometimes for people, or hit them over the head with it enough times, and then they really get it. I can't tell you how many times I heard them teach before the light bulb went off, and I simply said, "Oh, the magnetic draw is emotion." And
Hmm.
they say, yeah, every non-physical teacher says happy and then, happy and then, happy and then, happy and then. Because when you're happy, then you are influencing what emotion you will use in your very next moment. And so you want to be on a happy wavelength. And then the memories that you have that are not happy, those are the ones that need reconstruction. And they get reconstructed in meditation, in attunements, in sleep, but also in interviews, which are fun. Because when a person is doing full and open channeling, the way the teachers describe it is the solar plexus is wider and taller. And then the center point also becomes wider, sideways width. When the center point becomes wider, there's a push of non-physical energy that causes the channeling to occur. Well, that non-physical energy is pure non-physical goodness. And so
Hmm.
that energy goes into the room or into technology. So everybody that's listening to this call, this webinar tonight, you're all getting that push, and then it gets looped back around and used on the channel person just to keep them energetic. And how many channeled people have you interviewed? How many are on your replays? So you've got non-physical energy that is just billowing out from your website.
Hmm.
People could really pull up your website and put it on a secondary browser and be working, and they are getting
Hmm.
non-physical energy that's being pushed towards them. There's so many ways to recalibrate what you have in the pantry.
Hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. There's a couple things I want to go over with you. Y'all, we're gonna get into Q&A. So if you want to ask Carol a personal question, we'll probably get into some channeled information here in a little bit as well. So it's be prepared for that. We're going to get into a special offer in a little bit also. So hang up. But again, if you want to ask your personal question, raise your hand, type your question into the chat box, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. So, Carol, how can someone work with Pillar Two? And okay, we realize that it's law of attraction. We're creating and manifesting with our emotions and the mechanisms that are in place there. How do we know that we're functioning with Pillar Two? How do we know that we're in that particular pillar? And how can we tell like what begins to shift in people's lives when they begin to practice this on a more continuous basis?
We are in pillar two every second of physical life, every second, because pillar two is law of attraction. It's idea reconstruction. From the essential material perspective, it's idea reconstruction to help people use and adopt healthy ways of thinking, healthy ways of living, so that the energy that you draw to you to manifest with and engage with is of a healthier variety, which is positive emotion. And
Hmm.
so everything has to do with pillar two. But how do you understand the mechanics of pillar two? Well, that's where pillar one comes in, because non-physical energy is a non-physical object created by non-physical beings, so they would have it available when they were experiencing human physical life.
Hmm.
And so they thought about everything, and there's so much here. But how do you make the most out of pillar two? Well, from a day-to-day living perspective, just focus on happy. In the moment that you're not happy, focus on anything that's happy in your environment or anything else. But from the essential material and how the teachers teach pillar two, it's understand that they're talking about the non-physical mind, not your physical mind.
Hmm.
And so it's a little bit of a learning curve in the beginning when they talk about the grid and when they talk about reconstructing thought and where thoughts are housed and how we manifest, and that our pantry is our memory. Our memory interacts with the chakras interact with our body, and that's how we see and do and behave and experience things. And but you don't know all of those things until somebody somewhere along the line teaches it to you. So they go down into the mechanics of myths and misconceptions, because people teach and we teach and then we paraphrase, and sometimes when we paraphrase we're okay, but sometimes when we paraphrase we're not. And then somebody else does the same thing, and so further down the line it gets really diluted, and so they're pulling it all back in and they're saying this is what it is, this is your quantum energy that you have available to you and where it is, so that law of attraction is on your side. So pillar two is all about non-physical energy and how it can help you. But it's also about the mechanics of the subconscious mind
Hmm.
and what it is, where it is, how it operates, what it is, they call it the aspect reality. And they go over that in the unfoldment class. This is part of the package that you've got. And they describe it in ways that you walk away saying, well, now I get it. Now,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
once you get it on the outside, the external manifested person, once you get it, then the inner mind also gets it. And then conversation starts to unfold. It's a,
Hmm.
it's a, it's just a beautiful dance between knowledge and living, knowledge and living, knowledge and living. And you got to have the knowledge in order to act upon it. And when you've got the knowledge and you've got comprehension, then you act upon it, but so does the non-physical mind. And then you've
Hmm.
got this, beautiful coming together of everything that you're really, really wanting. That's
Yeah,
alignment. Your
it's
physical mind
powerful.
and comprehension is in alignment with what the non-physical mind wants to operate with, which is positive energy.
Hmm. And again, I mentioned it earlier, and it's worth mentioning again. I I so greatly appreciate and respect how the path is laid out so that we can follow the path, so we can actually apply it, we can put it into motion, we can create from it. um it's powerful work, and it's so grounded in truth. Like the way that I sit with the material that you share and the channeling that you bring in, and what's written in your book, it just lands. It's like you can't really poke holes in it because it just is. It's very direct, and very, just again, very creative in its ability to construct reality as you keep with the practices.
It's
Um,
very deliberate. You know,
Great way of putting it. Yeah.
the way they weave storytelling and visualization and the mechanics in small doses so that you can start to comprehend
Mhm.
there's two halves. It is a duality. It is a duality. It's not just physical life will come to a close and then we'll move to non-physical life and that's the duality. They said, no, 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 that's not it. It's when you are here in the physical world, you are inside a quantum energy field that you can't see. It
Mhm.
walks around with you. You walk around with it. And it has non-physical energy that's emanating through it. And so when you're using your body, you are moving through your own non-physical energy. You can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't perceive it. And so the world has not adopted it as real. But non-physical teachers, through me and everybody else, they talk about the same thing. Non-physical energy is real. Happy is the way to manifest. And the teachers add on to that and they say happy is the way to manifest because the the draw of energy to you is emotions first. And it
Mhm.
goes by quantity. If you really, really, really want a happy, fulfilling life, no matter what, you know, we all want to manifest our own personal things, no matter what your life consists of, be happy on as many things as often as you can and come back to it as quick as you can so that your dominant emotions are happy because those are the wavelengths that are being drawn to you. But yeah, thank you for mentioning the books. They're pure channeled and it's a joy to do those. I love them, love them, love them.
All right, let's get into it. We're going to start going into some live Q&A. So if you guys raise your hand, that promoted you to panelist, turn on your video. I'll call on you in a second again, or type your question into the chat box. And before we get into that, and again, we're going to get into the special offer in a second. April, will you put the special offer link in the chat, please? And we're going to get to that in a minute. There it is. Um, Pillar two, and remind us, okay, the next step from pillar two, because it's always wonderful to also be in the excitement of where it's also taking us. What happens after pillar two?
Happy. Yeah. So pillar two is
Yeah.
manifesting. And we're manifesting every second of every day. You know, I'm manifesting the words that I'm saying, but I also manifested this moment here with you on this night and manifested second by second, but I manifested the white couch and I manifested finding this cute little, you know, cat at home. Because you manifest everything. And so what happens after pillar two? Well, that's pillar four, but also pillar three. Pillar three is self-healing. It's
Mm,
partnering with your non-physical team to self-heal. And pillar four is your intuitive development. It's strengthening your intuition and then moving into mediumship. Pillar two, when you really find yourself to be in the groove of understanding how to do the emotional U-turn and understanding that emotions are the cause and the basis for everything that goes right and wrong in your life, emotional causation, then you know when you put personal practices, self-care practices in place that focus on emotion, and you might focus on journaling, you might focus on, you know, some activity, but infusing happy is how you alter the way your body feels.
mhm,
But it also alters how willing the inner mind is to be in alignment with the cord of communication and healing. They call it the cord of illumination, so that you can receive what your non-physical guide is sending to you. If your subconscious mind doesn't go to the base of that cord of illumination, call it the side chord and the up chord, the side chord, then your guide can not, they can send healing tones, but they can't help you with your mediumship ability. They can't help you increase your intuition. And so that's alignment, being in alignment with, I just say, you got to go to the mailbox and open it to get the mail. And if you know the mailbox is out there, but you never go to it, then you're never going to get the mail. And so it's the same thing. The mechanics are helpful. The mechanics are helpful. So what happens after pillar 2? Clear-minded, happy, healthier. You get out of a bad mood faster. You have a better outlook and perspective. And when you add rhythm of the body meditation in microdoses, then mediumship surfaces decades sooner than it otherwise could have.
Yeah, it's powerful, powerful. Love this. I want to get into special offer in a second, Carol, but I'd love to start with some Q&A. We have some questions coming in. And if you're down for that, let's go ahead and start with Renee. Welcome to the call. And let's get you to unmute your microphone, please.
Wow, this is so incredible because I've studied the law of attraction for 20 years and I am learning so much more about thought about, now I start saying like being healthy instead of saying I want to be. So what I'd like to know, can we be in all these pillars at the same time? We work our way through each.
Well, let's say that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, the pillars are not a phase. The pillars are content. It's curriculum. It's knowledge base. It's knowledge base. Knowledge about non-physical beings, who we are in the non-physical place and why we're having a physical life. It's let's just say books of knowledge about non-physical life and human physical experience. And that is two different things. Non-physical life and human experience. We're having an experience and there's a defined start and stop to it. There's a lifespan. And so pillar 1 is all about the content and the knowledge about non-physical beings and who we are and what we do. Pillar 2 is the content about why we manifest what we do and how to alter it. Pillar 3 is the content about non-physical energy and partnering with non-physical beings so that they can reverse the emotions that you've had. They can rewrite history by doing emotional recalibration. So it's content, not a phase. And then pillar 4 is the content and the material and the curriculum that cause you to step into mediumship.
All right, Renee, you're frozen, so I'm going to go ahead and mute you and come back and listen to the replay. And if you need more clarification or like some, type it into the chat box. So we'll go from there. Thank you so much, Renee. All right, let's continue here. Tiffany Starr, welcome to the call. Let's get you to unmute your microphone, please.
Okay. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Okay, hi. I was wondering if maybe you could channel or pick up any important information in regards to my health and career. I don't know if that's possible.
I certainly can. I'm John, I'm going to leave that up for you. How you want to do this with personal guidance. I'm certainly happy to bring
If it's in alignment for you, Carol, yeah, let's do that. And yeah, you guys get to experience Carol that way as well. And it's wonderful that she can tune into. Also, there's an amplification of what's available. And I just have to say, it just happens when we get in a phase where we are willing to show up for each other in this way. So as Carol was stating earlier, just by opening a page and being in the vibrational tone, and I'm paraphrasing here now, of what's available and the access that we have, it's like the answers and like that relationship with our consciousness expands as well. And you'll find a lot of times that the answers that you're looking for within you. So as Carol shares, I'd also invite you to breathe in and practice that authority within you, even though it might not have shown up in the way that you wanted to so far. You might be surprised what you have access to as well. And with that, Carol, yes, if you're guided to, please.
Sure. Please, if you would, Tiffany, just go ahead and identify in very brief description about what your physical or emotional basis is. You know, what's the basis of the question. The teacher will come in, they will identify themselves, and then they'll dive in.
Just about what they see for my health and my career. I'm not able to walk and stand up, so I'm just kind of curious about that and what I should do for a
I'm just
career.
gonna say it like this. This is James to speak. I'm Carol's guide. And so there's about 40 teachers in the room, and we always look at a human by what it is that they are wanting to say and what they're wanting to do, and then what they actually say. And so we know we're talking about law of attraction, but we're not talking about law of attraction because you have a question. What is going on with you is a whole lot of bad jumping. Now that's not going to help you in the short term, but your guide is going to do some, well, we're just going to do a push. We're just going to do a push. Bad jumping is astral projection. That's how some people describe it. We simply say this: non-physical mind is not limited to the room that you are in. Time, space, reality does not apply to your non-physical mind. And it goes and it investigates other lives, past lives of your own. And those memories come into the grid as well. We don't want bad jumping, but all human beings do it. And it is why you age. It is why you age. You have a barrier. It is throat chakra, sacral. So some of the things that's opening. So we're going to talk just for a moment, and then we're going to draw down. When the sacral is compromised by root beliefs, then you can't get certain things done, life intention things. If you can't get life intention things done, then the physical body starts to compromise itself. And well, any number of things can happen. Any number of things. The body starts to say, if I don't get this intention done, if I can't get my intentions done, what is left? And that is internalized anger. Internalized anger causes muscle, tendon, joint, bone, marrow, and organs in that order. In order for it to hit an organ, it has to be depth of anger, which leans into fury and things like that. You don't have that, which is good. You also have time lapses that are not good. And so the mind is suffering from disoriented, would be the emotion that we would describe. Disoriented, not you on the outside, but it's an internal battle. The unconscious part of you is, we'll say, suffering from disoriented and anger, and it's manifesting in your physical body. So of course you can go to a physician and you can get diagnosis and you can do all of those things. And what we are doing and what we will do is sit side by side with medical professionals so that we can have the conversation with them. We're going to do that again and again so that they start to understand emotional causation. So what we're talking about is emotional causation. So you've got anger and disoriented. Now, what is disoriented? It's confusion amplified. So in order to pull back what your body has manifested, you need to look at those two things. Anything that falls under disoriented. Now that's all the way down to the words of, huh? I don't know. I'm not sure. Anything that falls under the category of I don't know is something that you need to stay far, far, far away from. And then also anger. So you are not an angry person, but on the inside, if you could see the vibration or the emotional self, the vibration that emanates we'll just say massive quantities alongside your happy nature. So how do you incorporate pillar 2 and pillar 3, which is manifesting? and then heal thyself. It's not self-healing, I've got to do it myself. It's heal thyself in partnership with your non-physical team. You need to stay clear of sarcasm. You need to stay clear of anger and violence and anything like it. Now, we're saying that to you, but you're the secondary component. The non-physical mind has to stay away from those things as well. And that's what we're going to do to draw down if we have a moment for it. Go ahead and close your eyes, Tiffany, but do, if you would, if you don't mind, remove the glasses. It will be easier to bring your mind further into alpha. And you might feel like you're almost like you're swaying. If you do, stay there and then just remark on it. Down. Down, down, rest. All right, up. All right, so there's a barrier, and we're certainly not going to fix it in the short amount of time. But what we do want to say is those two things are interwoven. That's what we can see in the emotional self of you. Disoriented, which is massive confusion, and anger are interwoven. That's we would say alpha banding, theta banding, hypnosis. You need a good practitioner of it, but you need about 6 months of silent meditation first, in any amount, daily. Otherwise, you're not quite a candidate for hypnosis, but it will help. It certainly will. Because in that drawdown state, but your mind has to go there first, and it won't go there without silent meditation first, in any amount, but every single day, at the same hour, if you can. Make it an important thing. We can pull things back. Although, career-wise, you're not really wanting to do more than what you should do. And what you should do is rest and recuperate. We don't see career as being a hurdle, but we also don't see it as anything that you're really, what do you do? Because we're saying that you don't have work and that you don't need work and that you're not really wanting to work, but there's a lot of different things that are in competition. Although you also are needing deep meditation for sincere recalibration. We won't take all the time here, but please do connect with us outside. John, it's okay. This is me. It's okay to
Absolutely
provide, and then we'll do more on that. It's certainly not enough conversation with what's going on.
beautiful. Tiffany, I recommend that you come back and listen to the replay and absorb what was coming in the transmission. And then you can reach out to Carol directly. And the special offer is tremendous. We're about to go through that. But blessings to you, love. And thank you so much for opening and asking your question and allowing your heart to really inform.
Wow, I really appreciate it so very much. Thank you.
All right, Tiffany.
Bless you.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to get to Jillian, and I'm going to get to y'all in a little bit. I want to get into the special offer because the special offer is something that I want you all to consider, because it really is, again, the path. Once you have a path and you start applying the principles towards the path, change comes into place in the most beneficial of ways. So the link for the special offer, y'all, is in the chat box. Click on the blue link You can open up a new browser if you want and just type in beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Carol33. And then it'll take you to that same page. And Carol, if you will, I'm going to share my screen. At the same time, would you inform everyone what they're going to be participating in by diving in further with you?
Well, I love the phrase knowledge is power, and it is. It's power, and it's powerful, and there's energy in it. And so the unfoldment into channeling is a continuous education with the teachers on the essential material with a very specific goal, which is to draw the inner mind into the awakening. Now, there are two kinds of awakening. There's awakening into being able to do more spontaneous healing, and then there's awakening into mediumship. It's a beautiful 12 weeks with teachers. It's a level 1 course. And it's everything that you could ever want to understand about how the mind works, how mediumship works, what it is not, and the kind of things that they talk about: conscious reality, aspect reality, the grid structure, the awakening, the psychic nature of the mind, the causation, and the actualization of mediumship. You don't just spontaneously awaken and become a medium. There are things that are happening to your non-physical structures, to your non-physical components. And when you understand that some things take time, but when you have knowledge about it, then it happens faster. It's a beautiful 12 weeks. And
It's a powerful 12 weeks.
it's
Yeah.
a powerful 12 weeks. And you get the private Facebook group, which there's always assignments and little things. And I always pop on, and the teachers give all kinds of helpful advice and validation. And that's what is so good is they always encourage people to do their meditation, do your practice session, do your self-care kind of things, but always do specific meditation. And they're very, very, very definite. Rhythm of the body, silent meditation, 3 to 12 minutes every single day. Mediumship will rise to the surface. But the way they infuse energy, and the way they infuse knowledge, and the way that they're, doing some throat chakra manipulation and heart chakra manipulation, you get drawn into the awakening, which is good. Now, this is essential on the essential material. It's a video series, channeled video series with teachers on each pillar. And it's a really sit down, absorb one. If you feel drawn to doing them back to back, that's okay. They do recommend that you do one a day and really sit with the information and write your questions down, and then watch how your questions will be answered in classes, in the class sessions.
This is pretty powerful. Just the 12-minute meditation, just the process of that you suggested to me months ago was profound for me of what I was integrating. It was simple, it was accessible, my communication, my ability to be in true stillness, not having my mind need to wonder or achieve anything in the process. To be honest with you, it was life-changing.
But this is where the mechanics come in. They say 3 to 12 minutes, and what they're doing, there's a specific ribbon inside the throat chakra that contains your mediumship potential. And it's all 5 of your physical senses, intuition, and then channeled. And so that's senses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th sense, and then the 7th sense. The clairvoyant falls into early stages of 7. So they're doing throat chakra work on that ribbon to unfold it. And they say it literal. When you understand the mechanics, the inner mind says, yeah, that's true. That is how my non-physical body works. And oh, you want that ribbon unfolded? Well, that's easy to do. Just I'll now that I'm aware of what you're doing, I'll help to unfold it. And then they accelerate your progress by infusing knowledge. It is very powerful. So that the videos are 1 pillar per video.
Amazing. And how long are the videos?
Oh gosh, somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes.
Oh, accessible. Amazing.
Yeah, they're bite-sized chunks. Now this one, okay, Synergistic Wellness is a digital monthly, pure channeled magazine. And so there's a lot of healthy living things that you can subscribe to. This is channeled and channeled only. Channeled, not clairvoyant. So even me, if I'm receiving some kind of, beautiful thought process, the way I do all kinds of work, that's not in there. It's pure channeled by video, verified by video, and then I validate with the teachers the content if it's submitted to me. And so it's infused with intuition, it's infused with guidance, but they also identify the order of the content to be progression. And then, all the other advertising kind of things are in the back, because they build your intuition to help guide the mind to which practitioner is helpful. And so it's a beautiful thing. Anyway, it's a beautiful contribution to the whole channeled community.
And I have to get the 12 weeks of unfoldment into channeling. Those are live calls. Those begin July 8th.
Oh yeah. It's
Oh my God, y'all, this is amazing. I didn't realize it was live. I just noticed that.
yeah, it is live stream, Zoom based conversations with the teachers on the essential material and how it pertains to your unfoldment into mediumship. Now, not
Wow.
everybody's going to be a practicing medium, but my parents were 73 and 76 when they passed, and none of my grandparents survived them. And my parents for decades were hoping to speak to their parents. And so sometimes it's just a personal thing. I want to talk, I want to talk to my mom. I want to talk to, somebody special. And so mediumship it starts with improving intuition. And when you have improved or strengthened intuition, then things seem more manageable. Good timing is nice, but being able to pick up groceries, suddenly you feel stronger, suddenly you feel more vitality. Intuition can be an amazing assortment of things. So it starts with improving intuition, moves into testing and identifying what parts of your clairvoyant ability are surfacing, but then also pushing you into channeled. Channeled is the way the teachers describe it. There's two different ways that conversation from your non-physical guide, two ways that it's presented. It's presented as a thought in the mind, or it's presented as out loud conversation. There's really no weirdness with channeling, with what they call full and open channel. Is the ribbon is fully opened, and then the words flow out loud. It's thinking and talking the conversation that has been received from the other side. And it's always beautiful, and it's always accelerated with their help.
Yeah,
There's always
it's an extraordinary special offer. My God, Carol, this is full on $97 for all of this. And I'm telling, again, I am sharing my testimonial of how impactful just a few of these practices were me as I applied them. And you're going to get that complete immersion in those 12 weeks, the subscription, and then those other videos. I cannot recommend enough this work.
I tell you what, John, I don't come up with the special packages. I always ask for guidance. And they said, Carol, the thing is, and I'll just say this really quickly. When this happened to me, I wanted to do large audience law of attraction workshops, because that's what every channeler does. And they said, well, we'll do that, but that's not really what we want to do. We are creating a new generation of channeled mediums. And I said, well, that's not what every other channeler does. And they say, well, it is what they do, but we want to specialize it. We want to create better readings, more accurate readings, more forecasting, more options, more recommendations, and the why and the why not. And so they have a reason, and they have such a beautiful way of helping people. But that's why they want to create a new generation, not age category wise, but a new wave of people who don't fear channeled. as a way of communicating with people on the other side.
Amazing. Again, and I can feel the intention behind that, the purpose, and how I'm projected. Each of y'all as it resonates to you. Again, this course is absolutely amazing for $97, the 2 payment option on it as well. Again, the way that Carol really teaches and channels and provides the practical step-by-steps, absolutely incredible. So y'all have it there. The links for the special offer, it's in the chat box, or again, you can find it by opening up a new browser and typing in beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Carol33, same page. And Carol, let's continue with some Q&A if you're okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's go here. I'm going to take a question first. Sharon wrote in, and Sharon's asking, hi, Carol, John, and the teachers. I'm retiring at the end of the month, and I'm anxious about my future. I want to develop my metaphysical skills and hope to help others. Do you have the potential to do that? And do I have the potential to develop these skills?
This is the teachers to speak. There's gonna be a difference here. Now, the thing that you're saying, my metaphysical skills, there are no metaphysical skills. There's psychic nature of the mind, and then there's your ability to have intuition. Intuition amplified is mediumship. And that's what we want people to understand. So what are your metaphysical skills? Happy. If you could just, pull back from metaphysical community, because metaphysical community does a lot of practitioner things. You did not design into your life. In your life, if you could read the sacral, if you could read it, but the inner mind can read it, you did not build in to be overly spiritual. So the kind of channeled conversation that you should be listening to is mainstream variety, because that's what you were hoping for. Probably late in life, clairvoyance would surface. And if it did, you would be an occasional reader. So it's not metaphysical skills for you. We know who you are. If you are feeling, the one who typed it, tingles in your legs and perhaps in the front of the face, just identify it with a thumbs up or however you're allowed to do it here. We know there's a lot of different people doing different. The tingly sensations means that we're doing some heart chakra work on you right now and asking the inner mind to look at the sacral. You built in to be a medium who could give short readings on a part-time basis in your upper years. You say you're retiring. We say it's not yet. That the mediumship is going to come. It's going to come for you no matter what, but you won't know if you're accurate. And so for you, 9 minutes, 3 to 12, 12 is the maximum, you're at 9. 9 minutes of silent meditation every single day. But you also need to own a pendulum, and you need to learn how to use it. Right after meditation, what we want you to do, set your alarm, close your eyes, relax. Now we would like you to curl up, if you can, into a ball in your meditation, because then your chakras are all moving around each other and we can clean more out faster. Stay quiet. Don't talk. Don't have a conversation. Don't think. You will think some. Don't try to think. And then as soon as that 9-minute alarm goes off, open your eyes, turn it off, close your eyes, and breathe 2 times. Rather heavy breaths. And then simply make note of what words you hear. We know for a fact it'll be words, not images, that come first. And then we want you to write it down. And then take your pendulum out sometime during the week, at least twice a week, and validate every single word. And you will find a lot of error. And when you have the error, cross it all the way out so you can't read it. You will train the mind in about 2 years' time that you want accuracy in the moment of receiving. That doesn't mean that you're going to be a walkabout medium, because we don't identify that for you. But you will be in the moment of sitting down and intentionally 2 breath and then receive. It will be words, and you have to weed out the inaccuracies. Start that today, even though it's not first thing in the morning. Don't delay. It will surface no matter what. You built it in. Thank you for the conversation. You were guided to it. Good intuition on that one. Back to you, John.
Beautiful. All right, let's go to Jillian now. Hi, Jillian.
Hello. Hi. Nice to meet you all.
What is your question for Carol and the
The
guides?
question for Carol is, I've been on the journey of a little bit different from what you talk about, which is self-realization and Kundalini awakening. So the awakening of the Kundalini in the sacral bone that rises up, comes out through the top of the head as a cool breeze and activates the chakras. You can feel them on your fingers. And over the years, a lot of meditation, a lot of clearing. And I'm trying to understand, I'm at a stage now where I'm trying to understand how this process of Kundalini awakening and self-realization, as I understand it, works with what you're talking about, the three pillars and where I am at the moment. And I feel like we're all talking about similar things, but I'm trying to understand how it all, if I don't know, fits together, I suppose. Does that make sense?
Me, Carol. So I'm gonna say that. I like to say that this is me. When the teachers come in, they'll identify. And so, but this is how the spiritual metaphysical community is, isn't it? Is that there's a lot of terms and you don't know what all the terms are and what matches to what. And if you could match it, then somebody needs to write a book and put all those terms in there. And so the classes with the teachers, they use all the terms. So what is Kundalini? It is prana, it is soul energy, it is oneness, it is the inner mind, it is aspect reality, it is the self, capital S, it is the non-physical component of your physical life. And so the Kundalini awakening is the inner being awakening to the knowing that it is within the physical world. So that's the true Kundalini awakening. That's the true inner being, soul essence, Reiki awakening. All of those words mean non-physical being or non-physical energy. And so when people talk about, but this is where it gets challenging. When people talk about Kundalini awakening and that there is a breeze and a push through the top of the head, or that there is energy woven at the base of the spine down by the coccyx bone. Well, what that does to you in manifesting is it can cause you to have migraines. It can cause you to have back problems, shoulder blade issues, sore shoulder.
No,
back
it doesn't.
problem. But the reason is because you're asking the physical body and the non-physical body are not the same thing. They're two different things, but they're layered on top of each other. And so the awakening is the non-physical mind, not the physical body. It's the non-physical. And it does go upwards and it does go out the crown and it does have movement of energy, but it's not movement of energy that the physical body can feel. And that's where spiritual and channeled, they don't connect all the time. And so the Kundalini awakening is opening of the throat chakra, opening of the heart chakra, cleaning out the root chakra, and then your chi, which is Kundalini, it's just another word for Kundalini, your chi circulates faster and cleaner. It's like cleaning out clogged pipes. That's the proverbial clogged pipes. When you clean out the clogged pipes, then your non-physical energy rotates forward faster and in alignment with each of the chakras. So the Kundalini awakening is exactly what you're already doing, which is moving into healthy living, moving into, so what do you need to do? First of all, Kundalini is non-physical energy. It's a non-physical mind, not the physical body. So any description of non-physical nature adds confusion, and then you manifest with confusion. That's an emotion. So there's no breeze that goes with it. You don't feel it. Although there is movement of energy, but it's non-physical in nature, not physical in nature. So that's just a technical detail that's meaningful. When people say there's the Kundalini has to be awakened and it goes straight up the spine and out through the top of the head. Now they're using physical body description. And the inner mind says, but I don't have a spine and a head. I have a center line, and I have up, and I have diagonals, and I have meridians, but I don't have a spine. And so it adds confusion. But also when you say that it's at the base of the spine, then the mind says, well, I don't feel any pressure at the base of the spine, but I'll manifest it. And then you start to have back pain. And so a lot of people are suffering when they don't need to, just from bad phrases, bad descriptions. So that gives you a little bit of perspective. Non-physical body is woven against your physical body. So if you could see your non-physical quantum body, you can call it whatever you want, quantum body, your non-physical force field, the energy body, it is in the shape and the likeness of your physical body, but without all the physical contraptions to it. It's the shape, it's like a mesh suit, but it has non-physical energy, Kundalini, your soul essence energy, that is emanating from it. So if you could see it, the way the teachers describe it, it would glow. And that glow is non-physical energy that is used in all of your healing moments. That is the healing agent. It's the awakening part. So there's awakening into mediumship, whatever level, but there's also a deeper awakening that your guide wants you to be aware of, because that is happening already to you. When you live a life of goodness and a life of kindness and a life that is in line with what you identified as your temperament. So there's all kinds of things in soul intentions. Temperament is one. And what your guide is saying is your temperament has been consistent and on the path. And so your inner being awakening is imminent. It's not something that you need to know about. You'll know about it after, when your life completes. It is it's what the teachers call a moment point. It is an identifier of something extraordinary that happened in a human being's lifetime. They do identify that you will have that. It's not a conversation that you can have with the inner being when it awakens, but it is a highlight of something extraordinary. It will have more awareness of you. Some of your thoughts will be, what is this? June 2024, June 2026, June 2026. Use a pendulum at least once a week and just ask this question. Are any of my personal thoughts coming from my inner being? Your inner being, not your human thoughts, your inner being thoughts. By June of 2026, you will have consistent yes at least once a week. You won't know which ones they are unless you invest in doing it to that degree, but you don't need to. It's just comforting. You'll also have less sinus pressure. You get pressure here. That sinus pressure is going to go away in about 2 months, August 14th. You're going to have some drainage down the back and the front. You don't have a cold. It is releasing of some negative emotions, and that's going to be the outlet, the fluid. And so be happy. Don't tell everybody that you're sick. Just say, this is what the teachers were talking about. It's a letting go of negative emotion. That's going to happen for you. And then shortly thereafter, you'll start getting some yeses. Don't absorb yourself in too many metaphysical things for you. Because it's not all, it's some of it is confusing. The terminology is confusing, and also some of it is assumption.
And I'm glad you're talking about the terminology, and the terminology being, we can receive the terminology and have our interpretation of the terminology based on who's sharing it with us. And to get hung up on it, to try to understand it, direct experience for me, it's like, that's how I understand some of the words. And then I can weave in some of my interpretation into that as well. But I love the clarification, Jillian. I love how clear you are that those clogs in your system and the lower back and all that. You're like, no, I'm not having that. I'm not having that's what's
Well,
happening
I
for
just
me.
wanted to clarify that because I got my Kundalini awakening from the incarnation of the Divine Mother, who is Sri Mataji Nirmala Devi. And when she came on earth, she actually came to awaken the Kundalini of people en masse so that it would manifest on your central nervous system as a physical thing. So I understand that it was a special thing that happened, not a usual thing. And it's available for everyone. Everyone can get their Kundalini awakening. It doesn't cause any pain because the Kundalini, as I understood, this energy is the manifestation of pure love within us. It's your own inner mother knowledge. As you
It's
said,
you.
it's you. Yeah, it's you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt you in
But
any
I
way.
also believe that
But
our
it needs to be
resistance.
awakened. Sorry, just 1 second. It just needs to be awakened by someone who's authorized. If you're
Well,
authorized to awaken it,
all
then
right,
it can
all
come
right.
up.
So
That's been my experience because I actually have felt it. So
There's
it's
some other complications that come into
interesting.
that of what you're sharing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So the first thing, and this is us, we'll just say the teachers to speak. That's the easiest way to say it.
Yes, of course.
Everything
Thank
that you
you.
said was accurate up until about the last part of it. So there are certain, we'll just say elevated beings, grand poobah, whatever phrase makes you feel normal, not spiritual. And so are there certain entity level beings? We don't say ascended masters. We just say beings who have advanced their learning on some very specific things. Do they step into the physical world? No. Do they infuse energy into the physical world? Yes. Now, what you're talking about is energy that's being infused into the world to cause health and healing from the root chakra, which opens up the inner being to have more awareness that it is in the physical state and to ignite personal intuition. And so that's how we would describe that. So all of that is accurate and it is available to everyone. Now, there's no human being that can do that. That is your non-physical team, but it is the human being because you have to be on your life path in order for that to happen. And it's not too late for anyone. You have to be on your life path with your temperament. That's your outlook and your mindset. And so we say your inner being awakening. It's a process. It's not a moment. And that process is imminent to where the inner being will start to provide some of your thoughts. It's not clairvoyance because the inner being is with you. Clairvoyance is from beyond. It's a longer conversation. It's a beautiful one. We'd like you to write that down. Send it to John. John will send it up to us and we'll do a video on it and post it, within the teaching segments and just put it out there for you.
Sorry, what did you want me to write down?
If you've got, because you do, more explanation on that, then send it to John. John will send it to us and then we'll.
I would love to share it. Yes.
Jillian, thank you so much.
Awakening is the inner being becoming aware that it is in the physical.
Yes.
Realm.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Blessings to you, Jillian.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And not to say this out loud, but it's because I want to get to another call and we've got to wrap up here in a little bit. The word that someone else has the authority, again, you said, there can be so much context around words and interpretations. And when you think about authority and you think about the master's teachings and authorities and levels that we access of hierarchy, not because someone is better than, but because they've gone through their initiations is a thing. But the broader scale and the deeper meaning of that authority is so much more universal and accessible to all of us, not just to a few.
yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right. Sorry if I just can jump in again. Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. It has to be for everybody.
Absolutely.
And it's more of like a catalyst. Yeah.
And again, I don't want to get a deep discussion about that, but I wanted to bring clarification to that part of the discussion as well. Thank you, Jillian. Carol, you were going to say something.
I was going to say, initiation, another word for that is willingness.
Yeah.
Your willingness to step into healthy living, conscious living, gentle living, gentle communication. That's the power that we all have. And when you use that power on a daily basis, then your emotional self alters. And when your emotional self begins to alter, then that is the early stages of the awakening, the inner being awakening. So there's different mediumship awakening, self-healing awakening, inner being awakening that's the ultimate goal. That one is. And so congratulations to you that one is a definite of the inner being awakening.
Beautiful. All right, I want to take more of y'all. We're almost out of time today, y'all, and now we're gonna get to a couple more questions, but let's see where we can go here. So I'm gonna ask for shorter answers so we can get deeper in, because I want to get into. But first, someone's asking, what if I can't show up live to the classes? You'll get recorded. You'll get the recordings of it. You'll be able to participate. Don't hesitate to dive into this. I'm telling you, the tools are profound. They just are. They just are. I highly recommend you take advantage of the special offer. $97, a 2-payment option, a 30-day money-back guarantee. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain just to sign up for it now. And if it by any chance doesn't resonate, there's no questions asked on the refund, y'all. Just take advantage of it. I highly recommend it. Nan, I promised I was going to get to you, and I can't go back on my promise. So we can get you to ask your question, please.
This could be quick. Hi there. Thank you, John. I'm really enjoying this. Wow, you get great guests consistently. I'd like to know if the teachers have an idea when I can get rid of the hydrocephaly caused by the attack by ETs, because I wanted to break the contract that I made before incarnation of being a lab rat. So they're gone now, supposedly, but I can't see right. I can't walk. My brain supposedly has interstitial fluid.
Let's see what Carol picks up on.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Well, there's no picking up on. We're just going to say it like this. We speak out loud. That's the way it's channeled. And so we say the nature of the human mind is that it will attack that which has harmed it. Thinking about being attacked by ETs is harming. It's not that you have done that, but the entertainment industry has. And the entertainment industry has promoted it as entertainment. And so it's taken in as fun. And it's taken in, this is James to speak, Carol's guide, although there's many of us here. It doesn't take a breath when you learn from us. It doesn't take a breath. And if it does, it doesn't take more than 2 in order for the conversation to flow. Man, you are off the path. You're off the spiritual angle of your life intentions.
Right.
You were never supposed to divest yourself and invest yourself into the strange phenomenon of the ET community. You were supposed to be more of a straight and narrow and then absorb positive energies to open you up to very strong intuition, probably into higher realms of consciousness. You would be, still could be, someone that would probably see either some non-physical symbols in the air, or
I've done that.
Or mathematical equations that you could not you would understand that they were complex mathematical equations. What you have seen in the air is not quite what we're talking about. It is still in the becoming. That's what we need to tell you. You have been guided to do a very wide U-turn away from anything within the spiritual and metaphysical that would fall into strange phenomenon. You want it to be very, 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 very mainstream-like, straight and narrow path. And then crown chakra would open up twice. Some of you know about the double crown and things like that. You call it eagle's wings. There's so many different descriptions of it. We just say widening of the center point of the crown is what you destined for yourself. Now, destiny, it means that it's still going to happen, but you didn't put a time frame on it. You specifically, this is not everyone. And so you destined for yourself, Nan, to have that crown to be widened so that you could receive, not upwards. Receiving is not conversation. Do you understand that? Conversation is mediumship, but receiving downloads of higher intelligence about pillar 3, which is self-healing. The concepts, there's only one true modality, and that's non-physical energy heals all. And you wanted to be a generous student and then teach what you learned. You have time for that.
Beautiful. Nan, thank you for coming
Thank
on
you.
and question.
Thank you.
And come back and listen to the replay.
Cool.
Really powerful what's coming through. Y'all, the replay always can be found on beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replay. I love what Diana's saying. Diana's saying, I've been studying with the teachers through Carol for a year. The weekly classes are very enlightening and will answer many of your questions. I encourage you to sign up. Meanwhile, do the silent meditation because that is when your own personal guide can help you. So Diana, thank you so much for sharing that. And Carol, thank you so much. It's like we can go on for like hours in this, and we've run a little long, and I want to respect everybody's time and energy and bandwidth. Those of y'all who I couldn't get to with your questions who showed up live, take the course, go in deeper with Carol, or come on to the next call on BTO and we'll engage that way. But Carol, again, thank you so much for what you do, the way that you share, just how simple and direct and elegant and impactful it is. It's made a difference for me, and I'm so happy to be able to share it with our community here on BTO.
I love being here. I guess I want to just leave everybody with one thought. Step into spiritual phase with a sense of normal. Because if you feel normal, but yet feel good about spiritual things, then that equals happy. If you go outside the confines of what makes you feel normal, and that's you individually, then you're stepping into awkward. And you don't want that even a little bit, because it closes the crown chakra. And then you receive less. So even if you do step into intuition and mediumship, you receive less. You don't want that. So you want to be a hefty dose of normal, and then a hefty dose of fun on whatever spiritual things make you feel good. And I love being here. It's one of my favorite things.
Thank you. Thank you. Love that. Love that. Carol, thank you. Again, your blessing. I look forward to the next time. I love you all. Blessings to you all. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next call. Bye, everybody.